Recording in progress. All right, so here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about leveraging the C21 brand in order to help you generate some additional business. So that is our main point of emphasis today. We want to highlight a couple things. So I'll start with what I think is the most valuable thing you can do, and it's on a listing presentation. Century 21 has 14,000 plus offices worldwide. Okay. It's up there. Century 21 and Remax have by far the largest footprint in the world in terms of offices. Okay. And it's not even particularly close between the rest of the group, the Berkshires, the Kellers, Coldwells, things like that. It's not close at all. So you have 14,000 offices worldwide. And even more impressive is when you consider the Asian market, and I'll get to that in a second, why I'm headlining that. The Asian market, Century 21, has over 4,000 offices in the Asian market. Okay. And the next closest company has like 800. Okay. So amongst the Asian market, Century 21, from a global franchise thing, blows everyone else out of the water. Now, here's something else you need to know in order before I get to kind of the gist of my point here. In some countries, the government blocks United States websites. Not in all countries, but in some countries, the government blocks you from getting to US websites because they're trying to keep all the money, all the economics local, okay, circling through the country. It's a real thing. So that's a point you need to know. Another point you need to know is that California is a very heavy international buyer state. As a matter of fact, last in the from May of 2022 to May of 2023. I don't know why that's the time frame they always use, but they always use that time frame. Does anyone want to guess how much money in residential properties were purchased from out of country investors in California, just in California? Anyone want to guess? Out of country investors, May 2022 to May 2023. The answer is $12 billion.
I was just about to say 1 billion. B.
$12 billion in residential, doesn't include the commercial stuff. $12 billion in residential business, residential homes was purchased from out of country investors just in California. Does anyone want to guess what the number one country was?
China.
China, right? Which brings me back to my point on the footprint that Century 21 has in Asia, okay? Because that's where the most investors come from. So now I'm going to package this all together for you, okay? And then we're going to go into some of the other things, okay? So now imagine you're on a listing presentation and you tell the seller, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, one of the benefits of, can I explain to you one of the other major benefits of working with me? Okay, yes. Would you agree that we live in an international real estate market? Now, in our marketplace, do we pretty much have every type of person that lives here? Yeah. We have Caucasian, African American, we have Asian, we have Armenian, we have Indian. We've got it all, right? Every size, shape, and color. And Mr. and Mrs. Seller, did you know that in the last 12 months, $12 billion in residential real estate was purchased from out of country investors? Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, so really, if we want to market your property the absolute best, not only do we need to market it locally, but we also need to market it internationally. Would you agree? Oh, yeah, yeah. Because most sellers believe that international buyers land their jet at LAX and come out with bags full of cash, right? That's the mindset. So we need to market internationally. They say, yeah, that sounds great. Well, the great news about listing with us is Century 21 has 14,000 offices worldwide. Every single one of those offices has access to every listing that Century 21 has through our Century 21 global system, which means your listing is going to get access to all these offices across the world, very heavy in the Asian market, because that's most of where the international money comes from, which is potentially going to lead to more international buyers, which could lead to more offers on your property. How does that sound? They're going to sound, that sounds fantastic. Then you wrap it up in a bow and you say, so here's essentially what's going to happen, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I'm going to take care of the local marketing. I'm the one that's going to call the neighborhoods. I'm the one that's going to send it out to my company. I'm the one that's going to send it out to my database. I'm going to take care of all the local marketing. The MLS is going to take care of the national marketing because they're going to send it out to 500 different websites that nationally everyone has access to. And then Century 21 is going to take care of the international marketing, which means we're going to have all of our bases covered. Do you think with that type of marketing plan, we are giving you the best chance to get you the most amount of buyers, most amount of money for your property? Of which the seller is going to say, yes, great, sign the contract. Okay. It's probably the most powerful thing you can use within the Century 21 brand is the script that I just said. Because to a seller, they are ecstatic that you're covering all the local, national, and then they get that international flavor, especially we're talking about Southern California or California or wherever. That makes sense to everybody? Okay. It's huge. Huge. You should do that on every single listing presentation. Okay. All right. Very good. So that's number one. So the second thing that I wanted to go over with you on leveraging the brand for more business is something called Golden Ruler. Okay. So let me share my screen with you. So if you go to 21 Online, okay, and 21 Online is the Century 21 system that has all their tools and all those other wonderful things. So you go to 21 Online, okay. I'm going to show you something called Golden Ruler and how it can help, what you can do to help generate some more business. So if I go to my listings, okay, when you go to your listings, now I have access to random listings for whatever reason in my particular page. I usually have access to all the company listings, but that's an issue I'm dealing with right now. But anyways, you'll see your listings. Okay, you'll see your listings. If you now this is a tool that you could do a lot of things with, but for the leverage of generating business, I just want to show you one. So you click on this listing, right? Let's just use this one. There's a thing here that says view on the Golden Ruler. Okay. Now this is where the money's at. So I'm going to click on view on the Golden Ruler. What Golden Ruler is, it's a report that shows how many views your property is getting online. Okay. Now, do you think if you showed your seller a report on how many views the property's gotten online, they would be impressed with that? The answer is yeah, of course they would. Mainly because they don't think you do anything. Now, I know that's not the case, but those sellers, they think, we're just in it for the money. We are, but that's beside the point. Okay. So when you get to this Golden Ruler report, so like this homepage, yeah, this is good. Like this is for you because it shows, hey, we've had 3,616 views on this property. right? And you can kind of see where it's come from. Zillow's always going to be number one. Now, the Golden Ruler does not have access to Redfin, so this doesn't count Redfin views. But it's got Zillow, the MLS, Realtor.com, Trulia, HomeSpotter, like all these other different places that people might view the property. Now, this also shows the number of views over time, right? So obviously, like for example, Zillow being the biggest, the first couple weeks are where most of the views come from, and then it drops from there. Okay. And then you kind of go for all these other different things. But here's what I really want to show you is the report. Okay. So right here, there's a little button that says preview report. Okay. So I'm going to preview this report. Because you can then print out this report and it shows your online analytics report. Everybody see this online analytics report that's on my screen? Okay, great. So you can print out this report, right? Now you can set this up to go to your seller, which we'll talk about in a second, but I want to talk about how to use this in lead generation. So you have this report, it shows the property address, the price, stats for this period. Look at 3,616 property views, 12 shares, 4 favorites. Shows the top 10 websites. Zillow, again, is always going to be number one, going down there. And then the top 10 cities. So these are wherever the computer or phone is located at the time that they searched for your property, that could be the top 10 cities. Okay. So top 10, and then you can click on view more stats, things like that. But here's what I would recommend everybody do. Because once your listing closes, this report closes. So when you have a listing, before it closes, come in here and print out this report. You can just download it to a PDF. Print out this report. Because now what you're going to do is you're going to take this report on your next listing presentation. So then when you talk to the seller on the listing that you're going to go see, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, a lot of agents say they do a lot of marketing and things along those lines. And, we do the same thing. But I brought a report here that gives you some sort of idea on the results that we're going to get from our marketing services. So as you can see here, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's an online analytics report that I got from my last listing on Pinero Place. And look at this. We had 3,616 property views on your property. 12 shares, 4 favorites. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, do you think 3,616 property views is a lot? Oh, yeah, that's a ton. Right. And so with our marketing strategy and what we're doing, we could get 3,616 property views potentially on your property. Wouldn't you like that? Oh, that would be wonderful. Great. Right. Then you go through the rest of your plan, sign the contract, all that stuff. But now you're bringing them an actual report that shows the value of your marketing. Okay. So I would heavily recommend that the next listing you get, or if you have some already, before the listing closes, go into the Golden Ruler, print out the report that shows the property review so that way you can then show it on your next listing appointment. Now, what you could also do with this same report is do some neighborhood prospecting. So you go to the neighborhood, you print out this report if you want to, and you go to the neighborhood. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, my name's Robert with Century 21. We just closed on your neighbor's house over at 123 Main Street, and I wanted to share this report with you. This report shows that your neighbor had 3,616 views on their property. That's a lot of views, right? Yeah, there's a lot of views. Well, that's how many people are looking at homes in this area. So I'm curious, have you potentially thought about selling your house? Because if you have, right now seems to be a really great time to get your home sold in this particular area, this city, this neighborhood. So now the neighborhood knows how many property views, and maybe someone who's been thinking about selling or knows someone who is thinking, holy cow, 3,600 people are looking at this property. Maybe now is the time for me to cash out. So I can use this as a neighborhood prospecting to try to generate some more interest. The third place I would use this report is with my database. Okay. Believe it or not, no matter how long you're in the business, whether you just started yesterday or 40 years ago, and no matter how much production you do, there are always going to be some people in your database that forget you're in real estate. It's just going to happen. Okay. Just the way it is. And then some of the people that do know you're in real estate are not going to know if you're any good. Are you still doing business? And if they don't know if you're really active in business or you're really any good, they're not going to send you referrals because they don't want to send their client or their clients, their friends, whatever, to someone they're not totally sure of is going to do a good job because you don't want that to blow up back in your face. So it's always a good idea to remind your database when you're doing business. Okay. So you should remind your database about every listing you take, every buyer you get into escrow, every closing you have. You should always remind your database of that. Remind them that you're working, you're in business. That's number one. But I would also send this report to everyone in my database. Hey everyone, just wanted to let you know we closed on this property at 12826 Panero Place. And I wanted to share this report to you to show that we ended up with 3,616 views on this property. So there's obviously a lot of activity in the market. If you know of anyone that's looking to buy or sell, please let me know. So now your database gets this report and they're going, holy cow, look at Robert, he's working. I mean, he ended up with 3,616 views on this property, which is going to give them more confidence in you to either A, call you for real estate stuff, or B, feel more comfortable referring it because now they know that you closed the deal and you were able to generate 3,000 plus views on that property. So this report is huge in terms of generating business. It makes sense to everybody. Everybody kind of understand the value of this particular report in terms of lead generation.
Yeah, good question. So that one is going to be possible before we close. It's not possible after closing.
Correct. That's a very important point. Thank you, Adriana. Golden ruler closes once the property closes. Okay. So that's why before now, if it's in escrow, you still have access to this report. So it's very important that before the property closes, you come in here and then print out this report because yes, you will not have access to it after the it closes. I don't know why it is that way. Okay, just in case anyone's going to ask me that question next. I don't know. I don't make the rules. But that is the deal. So you have to have access to it. You have to get this printed before the property closes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Robert, do you know if it does it with commercial property?
It should.
Okay,
Do
it's okay.
well.
I'll try it out.
You know what? Well, let me. It should. As long as it's in the MLS.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this report pulls from the MLS. So as long as the listing's in the MLS, you should be able to pull some stats from it.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Now, the other thing you can do with this report in terms of lead generation is looking at the top 10 cities that have viewed the property. So this particular property, like the most views are coming from Los Angeles, right? That's where the most pings are coming from. So it's in Los Angeles. Now, Los Angeles happens to be a big area, so you can't really do much from there. But you have Alhambra is the second biggest area that people are viewing this property. So where is this property located? It's in Baldwin Park, so it's not in Alhambra. So the Alhambra is the second biggest city where the pings are coming from. So one way you can use this on top of generating business is let's say that the listing that you have this listing and it's not selling, right? You're not getting the activity you want on it. You can look at some of these cities and say, well, gosh, the listing's in Baldwin Park, but Alhambra seems to be getting a decent number of pings in terms of views. So maybe you do some prospecting in Alhambra to promote the listing and see if you can generate some activity that way. Okay, just a thought. If the listing's not selling on maybe where you can do some target prospecting. Okay. But the other thing you could use this report for this report for in terms of generating business, it's not a lead generation source, but it's a selling source. And that is if the listing you have is not selling and you need to go to the seller to request a price reduction. Because if you go to the seller and request a price reduction with no information, does the seller generally think that it's just because you're not doing your job? The home's not selling because you're not doing your job. If you were doing your job, it would sell. That's the mindset. But if I have this report that I send to the seller or bring it to a seller in a meeting, I could say, look, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the property's gotten 3,616 views online. Clearly, the marketing works. We're getting the action, but we don't have any offers. So 3,616 times somebody viewed this home and decided that it's too high. The price is too high. So based on that, do you think that maybe the marketing's working? We just need to adjust the price. Okay. If you have this report, it's easier to have that price reduction conversation as opposed to just have nothing and say, well, we're getting views online. They don't have that. Now, if you really want to wrap this in a bow, give them the whole thing. So you could say, so Mr. Marcel, I want to recap with you the marketing we've done on this property. So through our online efforts, we've had 3,616 views online. I've also spoken to 100 of your neighbors within a quarter-mile radius promoting the property to see if they know of anyone that wants to move into the area. Okay. I sent this property to everyone in my database, who's my biggest source of business, to see if they are interested and know someone who is. That's another 250 people. It also went out to every agent in my company, and we're the number 4 Century 21 in the state of California, number 8 in the country in terms of production. So we got some producing agents in here. That's another 600 people. Okay. So in the last month, between the online views, the neighbors, my database, and the agent, there have been roughly about 4,500 eyes and ears on this property. And we don't have any offers. So based on that, do you think that we should look at lowering the price to make it more attractive? So you kind of wrap that in a bow. So this particular portion is not a lead generating, but it still can help you generate business by getting the price reduction you need and getting the home sold. Questions at all on everything I just covered in Golden Ruler? This is a great, great tool that everyone should be utilizing for marketing and promotions and all that other wonderful stuff.
Just a brief comment. What you are just showing, I was sending weekly to my client who closed yesterday, and he was very impressed. It was very.
Good stuff. Okay, next thing I want to show you, luxury. Luxury. So let's go to okay. So we're gonna go to Moxie. Oh. Well, why don't I have access to it? What the heck, man? All right, so in Moxie, for some reason, maybe I got fired. I didn't even know it. Let's see if I can. I was able to get there yesterday. All right, so in 21 Online, if you go to Moxie, you go to Moxie Present. Let's see here. Don't know. Sure, let's go with that one. See what happens. All right. Aha, there we go. Okay. If you go to 21 Online and you go to Moxie, you go to Moxie Present. So Moxie Present is where, thank you, Duke. Moxie Present is where you can create CMAs for your listings or just create other flyers and things like that. The one I want to showcase to you, though, is Moxie Fine Homes and Estates. So, and they got me all screwed up here. I don't know what happened to my 21 Online from yesterday. They have got me all jacked up here. So I apologize. All right, under brokerage presentations, there's supposed to be a section that says fine homes in the States. I see something here, right back to where that login was. Maybe I need to select this one. Yep. Okay. All right. Let's try this. I don't know why it's not working today. Worked yesterday. All right, I'll have to figure this out. Anyways, if you go to Moxie Present, there's a thing called Fine Homes and Estates. Okay. On Fine Homes and Estates, what Fine Homes and Estates is, if the listing is $1 million or higher, qualifies for Fine Homes and Estates. Okay. The main thing you want to utilize with that, and there's a flyer in here. It's annoying to me that I don't have it. This is potentially maybe has it. Everything's fine. No. Well, that's frustrating. All right. There's a flyer in the Fine Homes and Estates ones that shows the benefits of listing with Century 21 Fine Homes and Estates. Essentially, what it is when the listing is over $1 million, the MLS puts it out to all the other normal websites, and then Century 21 does its thing, and so on and so forth. But Century 21 also has a separate website called Fine Homes and Estates. So you essentially can tell the seller, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is a luxury brand home. So we want to make sure that it's getting a little bit more luxury marketing. So Century 21 has a portion of century21.com that's called Fine Homes. So your listing is going to be listed in the Fine Homes, which means it's going to be listed in an area where all the homes are $1 million or higher. Okay. So for someone who's looking specifically for a luxury home, they can go straight to Century 21 Fine Homes and your listing will be on there. Okay. On top of that, there's a number of different publications that are generated for luxury clientele where your listing is going to be promoted. And this flyer has those particular places. One of which is the Robb Report, okay, or DuPont. So for example, if I go over here to the Robb report. So the Robb report, you can even see here, the best of luxury cars, jets, yachts, travel, things like that. So this is the Robb report is a place where people looking for luxury lifestyle go to view things. Okay. Luxury cars, yachts, planes, watches, all these other different things. Part of it is also real estate. Okay. So they have a real estate section. See, look, homes for sale, the most expensive homes in every state, from Alabama to Wyoming, all these other things. Their listing is going to go on this report. Okay. So if somebody goes to the Robb report, they're a luxury buyer and they're looking to buy a home, they can come on here. Their listing is going to be on this site. Okay. So it makes the clientele feel really special that their home is getting that luxury lifestyle type of type of love. Okay. So here you go. Here's the real estate section, though, so they can search, right? They can search the area. And if the home's over $1 million, it's going to be on this report. It's going to be on this page. So utilizing the luxury of saying, hey, look, we have the fine homes and estates. Century 21 has its fine homes section of its website that your property is going to be listed on. On top of that, we're going to list it on all these sites, the Robb Report, DuPont's, Wall Street Journal, Barron's, all these other places that are designed for luxury lifestyle that have real estate sections. Your property is also going to be posted on there. Okay. So you can leverage that in terms of the luxury people, that you make sure they understand all the extra love that they're going to get for the luxury stuff. On top of that, that's also where you can use the international flavor, because again, these high-end properties, you want to say, look, it's possible, Mr. and Mr. Seller, that on your $2 million property, it could be someone from out of the country, some millionaire, billionaire from out of the country that's looking for luxury real estate here in California. Oh, yeah, it certainly could be. Well, Century 21's got that luxury, that international access to its 14,000 offices, and all have access to their Century 21 listings and all that good stuff. So utilize fine homes and estates and utilize that information when you're talking to listings that are above $1 million. Now, here's a very important note. Here's a very important note. The list price has to be $1 million or higher, which means that if you want to say, hey, I think for marketing purposes, let's list it at $999,999, right? So it goes just below that $1 million mark. I understand the strategy, but I'm telling you also, it won't go on any of these publications. So, so you have to make sure that if you're trying to get on these publications, the list price has to be $1 million or higher. Okay, you can't price it at 999,9999. Right, it won't go on any of these publications. So really important to know that. But anyways, if you go to Moxie Works, for example, you should be able to get to where I was. But when you go to brokerage, where was I? When you go to brokerage presentations, that should be one of the presentations in there's fine homes and estates. I'm clearly having some issues with my Moxie stuff, so it was working yesterday. I don't know what's going on with it today. But anyways, that's where you would find that information. So again, just another leverage point for the luxury clientele, which also means you could leverage that information to prospect luxury clientele. So when you're prospecting clientele, or you want to send out mailers, or you want to send out some information to people that are in $1 million plus community, you could say, hey, I just want to let everyone know that if your home is $1 million plus, I'm going to do some additional marketing for you in these luxury type magazines, publications. So if you're interested in selling your house, please let me know. So all of this stuff that we talk about at the listing presentation, use it as well in prospecting and marketing to try to get the clients to even consider you. Okay, don't just wait until you get the appointment. Sometimes you can utilize this stuff just to get at least a call back or a meeting or something like that. All right, very good. So a couple things there. All right, so The last one that I had on my list is called Preferred Client Club. I mean, there's a number of other things we can do, but I wanted to keep this somewhat simple. So again, if you're in 21 online, you go to Preferred Client Club. So here's what Preferred Client Club is. You sign up your contacts and you could sign up to 50 contacts. And they get a number of touches throughout the year. So here's the program. And you can sign them up for 2 years, 5 years, or 7 years because there is a cost associated with this. Okay. And the longer you sign somebody up, it's cheaper. But when you go through this, the cost is really, really cheap. Okay, so actually it shows it right here. 2 year membership is $25 a person, so it's $2 a month. 5 year membership is $43, so it's less than $1 a month. And if you sign them up for 7 years, it's $58 a person. Okay, so there's really not much money involved in doing this. Okay. But what they get is 7 touches a year. They get 3 issues of At Home Magazine, which is a very nice magazine that's got real estate stuff, it's got gardening stuff, it's essentially home type of stuff related. They get 2 seasonal greeting cards, they get a wall calendar. So they get a number of touches throughout the year that on top of whatever other stuff you're doing, this is just automatically done. And it's pretty nice stuff that they put together. So for very little cost. And all of the stuff that is sent out is branded with your information. So that at-home magazine they get has your name on it, your contact information, so that way they know who sent it and all those things. Same thing with the magazine, the greeting cards, the wall calendar, all that stuff. So it's all personalized with your information. The reason I bring this one up is mainly because we always talk about you have to stay in touch with clientele. But Century 21 did a study of the people that utilize Preferred Client Club versus the agents that don't. And what they found is the agents that use Preferred Client Club generate 1.8, so almost twice as much business as the ones that don't. Now, if we're just being openly honest here, there's really no way to figure out how much of that is because of Preferred Client Club. There's really no way to decipher that. But I do know that we have to stay in touch with people, and this is a set it and forget it type of way to be able to do that for a very low cost. And it does show that the people that utilize it are generating more business than the people that don't. However, that factors in. So it is a way for you to, generate some additional business and just by staying in front of people, some really nice stuff. Now, keep a note on the Preferred Client Club, a couple things to point out. Again, you're only allowed to have 50 people on there. Okay. And the people that you put on there can't already be signed up with somebody else. This is a good thing. Okay, this is a good thing because what they don't want to have happen is they don't want people getting 7 copies of the magazine because they're in 7 databases. Okay. And you're only allowed to do 50 people because they don't want somebody just buying up a bunch of names and phone numbers, sticking them in their database and saying, oh, all these people are on my Preferred Client Club, and there's thousands of them, even though they have no idea who these people are. So to control that, you're only allowed to have 50 people on there. They can't already be in someone else's database. So what I would say is if you're going to do something like this, and you don't have to have a total of 50, you can have up to 50. You could do this with one person if you wanted to. What I would say is if you were interested in doing something like this, find the people that are your real money makers. Don't send this to the people that you're hoping they turn into referral partners. Send this to the people that you know are good referral partners because there's a better chance that the more you stay in touch with them, you might get more referrals. Okay. So I would send this to your best people. Plus, you're also paying for it. So maybe it's probably the better chance to get a return on your investment. Send it to your best people. if you subscribe someone and the system kicks back and said this person's already enrolled, and that particular person says, yeah, I do get it from this agent, but I'd rather just get it from you. You have to contact Century 21. It's not a big thing, but you do have to contact them and say, this person's already in this one's database. They want to get out of it and move over to mine. I mean, it happens, but you just have to contact them and they go through all that process with you. But anyways, but this is another great tool that's provided to you at, again, very little cost, sometimes $9 a year for the clientele to get these really nice touches and really cool things that are branded with you to help you stay top of mind, which might help you generate some more business. All right, there's a number of other different things that you can leverage the Century 21 brand for, but those are the ones that I wanted to highlight today. Questions on anything that we went over? All right, very good.
I do have a question, Robert. This is Hillary. Hi.
Hi.
I'm new. So if we do add a person, can we switch our person? So say for instance, I add a client in there and then they say, I don't want to be on that list no more. And I take them out and ask somebody new, can I do that within like 3 months, 6 months, or do they have to stay on there for a period of time?
Well, so it's a good question. You sign people up for they sign up for 2 years, 5 years, or 7 years.
Mhm.
But let's say you sign someone up and then you decide I don't want to have this person on there anymore. You could take them off from getting the information and then add somebody back in there. The one thing I'm not actually 100% sure of that you just made me think about, and I actually don't know the answer to this question, is can you transfer the money you already paid for that person to another person? That part I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know if you can do that. So like if you pay for someone to be on that program and then they decide before their time period is up that they don't want to be on your stuff anymore. Uh, I know you can definitely take them off and add new people on there. That you can do all the time. I don't know if there's any way to transfer the money to somebody else or transfer the term left on that particular person to somebody else. That part I don't know.
okay.
I will look into that. Good question. But yes, you can add and delete people as you see fit.
Okay, so I understand now. So when I go to sign somebody up for, say, a year, 5 years, or whatever, it's for that term. So when I sign them up, I'm paying whatever a year, $8.64. I think it just said a year for 5 years.
Right.
Every year they'll charge me. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Good question. All right. Other questions on anything we went over today? Okay. I will get that script out to you, the one I did at the very beginning. I think that should be used on every single one of your presentations. That is I don't know, you can call me egotistical if you want. That's a really great script. So I would definitely, if I were you, use that on every presentation. So I'll get that script out to everybody so you can utilize it. Okay, look, I know we went through a lot today, so if you have any questions on any of this stuff, give me a call, text, email, whatever the case may be. You could also contact me via Telegram. I'm somewhat decent at that, but I'm on my text messages far more than I'm on Telegram, so I would prefer you do that. So, but I'll eventually get to you. But anyways, I'm happy to go through any of this stuff over again because I know it's a lot that we covered.
Robert, one more question. Is there a database or somewhere where we can get the videos recorded? Like if I'm here listening to them, I want to go back and listen to it again, add more notes onto. Is there somewhere where I can listen?
We do. I'll put the link in the chat box. We are very behind on that, like months and months behind. So you can access some of them. But one of the goals of our admin team, now that they've gotten some other stuff settled, is to start uploading these these classes.
Got it.
Because whether it be mine, Hunter's, things along those lines. We get questions on this all the time that we're just behind. So, because there's 152 videos on there right now, and
Oh, okay.
I have alone like probably another, I don't know, 200 over the last that they could upload him if they wanted to. So yeah, so we'll work on that.
Okay, perfect. And then how do you know my email address? Do I put it in here or do you just know in the
I got it.
office right now? Okay,
I got it.
perfect.
I got access to things.
Thank you, Robert. Thank
All right,
you.
good stuff. All right, everybody.
Robert.
Hey, if you need anything, let me know. Other than that, let's have a great rest of your day, and I'll back at it tomorrow.
All right, thank you.